Finding a good education abroad isn't always easy, which is why Ukrainian teen Artur Samarin was so happy when he got the chance to go to school in the United States. And he owed it all to his adoptive parents, Michael and Stepan Potts, who were willing to do anything to help him succeed. But the teen had a dark secret that shook the foundation of everything people believed to be true about him. He was lying about his very identity, and despite all of his academic achievements in America, everyone who encountered him could tell that he was hiding something. Artur Samarin was born and raised in the south of Ukraine, and his birth parents knew that getting an education there was going to be tough. So they made one of the most difficult decisions that no parent should ever have to make. Samarin's parents gave him up, and soon Michael and Stepan Potts from the United States became his adoptive parents. But it wasn't easy because there was something about him that initially prevented them from adopting him in the first place. They had to bend the rules to make this happen. So they bent the rules. But what did they do? Once Samarin arrived in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania in 2012, he only had a small window of opportunity to achieve what his birth parents wanted him to do, which was to succeed in life. But then his visa ran out in 2013 and he didn't know what to do. That's when the Potts walked into his life and came up with a devious solution. Samarin wasn't a baby. He was a handsome 15-year-old boy who was eager to start high school and hopefully attend college someday. But to achieve this, he had to lie, and it wasn't even his idea to so. The Potts obtained a birth certificate and a fake social security card with a false name, and that's when Samarin became red-blooded American Asher Potts. But it was only a matter of time before the truth about him came out. Samarin did what he set out to do and became a student at John Harris High School in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, and no one had any reason to suspect that he wasn't who he appeared to be. But was his life really that picture perfect? The Potts had offered him a new life. They gave him a home, bought him clothes, and looked after him the way any parent would. But accusations would eventually come to light that would bring their sincerity into question. 4 years after being adopted, Samarin ditched the Potts and found himself out on the streets. He eventually started living in a shelter until he ran into someone who offered him a third chance at a better life. Waleed McClintock and his wife took Samarin in, and the Ukrainian became friends with the couple's 17-year-old son, whom he shared a bedroom with. He never gave them a reason to doubt his sincerity. But that was his plan all along. The McClintocks never had any issues getting him out of bed. Samarin woke up at 5 a.m. to catch the bus. He even went to night school to take college-level classes. He also worked at a grocery store, and that's not all. Samarin was a smart, respectful, slightly built young man who had his future. But he was very secretive about his past. He rarely shared anything about his family or his life in the Ukraine. And the McClintocks didn't push. Then, something happened that made them realize that they should have asked more questions after the teen's previous adoptive parents resurfaced. Unknown to the McClintocks or Samarin was the fact that the Potts had called the FBI claiming their adoptive son wasn't who he appeared to be, and when investigators looked into it, they discovered the truth about him. It turns out that Samarin was actually a 23-year-old man, and not a teenage boy. So they apprehended him right away and charged him with identity theft. But that was the least of his crimes. He had done something far worse while under the guise of Asher Potts. Authorities also learned that he had been in a physical relationship with a 15-year-old while pretending he was 17. But he was in fact 22 at the time. So he was charged with assault and corruption of a minor, which threatened his otherwise promising future. But he claimed he was coerced by the Potts the entire time. He told authorities that the Potts were the ones that took 5 years off his age so that they could adopt him. And they used his status as an illegal immigrant to pressure him into doing things he didn't want to do, like the laundry or the dishes. But did law enforcement buy his story? He told the station What via Daily Mail that the Potts had turned him into a house servant, and he couldn't tell them no. Then, during an interview with GQ, he shared that the couple made him sleep on a couch in a walk-in closet. But the couple's lawyers called the fake teen's bluff. The Potts' lawyer, Corky Goldstein, told PenLive.com that they had nothing to gain from Samarin. She, Stefan, did all the cooking. They bought him clothes and took care of him. They even bought him plane tickets to visit colleges. And that's not all. Goldstein also refuted claims that the Potts took the Ukrainian man into their home for financial gain in spite of the fact that they had been evicted several times because of money troubles. But did they own up to helping Samarin commit identity theft? They wanted to do the right thing for him, whether they were right or wrong, Goldstein said. If they did anything improper or illegal, they're willing to own up to whatever she did. If charges are filed, she will turn herself in. They also claimed that they never knew his true age. But what did the district attorney have to say about the whole case? By all accounts, he was an excellent student. Dauphin County District Attorney Ed Marsico was quoted by the Daily Mail. He was involved in the community. He was in the ROTC program. He did community service. He was every parent's idea of the perfect child in school, too. By 2014, Samarin had a 4.16 GPA and had enrolled at Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University in Florida to earn a doctorate in aerospace engineering. But the school has since rescinded his application, according to PennLive. But what does Samarin's biological mother have to say about all this? Victoria Samarina emailed Wharton from the Ukraine after learning that her son was in trouble from various news outlets. I'm sure that he could not do anything wrong. I know that he just wanted to get a good education. I could not help to get him here. Please convey to him that I love him very much. He's my dearest person in the world, she wrote. Samarin stayed in prison through the summer of 2016. Then he appeared in court before Thanksgiving and received 11.5 to 23 months in Dauphin Country Prison for being with an underage teen. He also received an additional 2 months for the passport and Social Security fraud charges. And then he got IC'd. For 14 months, he was reminded he was not Asher Potts and hadn't actually accomplished anything. Then IC put him on a plane and deported him, which left him heartbroken. But at least his biological mother was there to welcome him with open arms when he arrived in Kiev. His adoptive parent, Michael Potts, got 2 years of probation, while Stefan Potts got 5 months in federal prison and 2 years of probation after pleading guilty to charges of Social Security fraud and harboring an illegal alien. Meanwhile, Samarin has adjusted to life in Novokakhovka, the city he was born in, and re-enrolled in his old school, Kherson State University. He still has hopes of earning an advanced degree in other countries like Israel, Mexico, or Brazil, but secretly he longs for a second chance in the United States. Despite everything that had happened, Samarin remained hopeful about his future. He expressed regret for the deception but maintained that his only goal had been to secure a better education and a brighter future. While he struggled to rebuild his life in Ukraine, he still dreamed of one day returning to the United States not as Asher Potts, but as himself. Whether that dream will ever come true remains uncertain, but one thing is clear. His story serves as a cautionary tale about the lengths people will go to in pursuit of the American dream and the consequences that follow when the truth finally comes to light.